Yo, what's up, my good people? I'm back here, Super Ninja Austin, the host of the SNA podcast, which is the 45th episode. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of AEW Collision, which is my AEW Collision review, part 6. Let's begin. We're going to start off right now with Darby Allin taking on Christian Cage and Luchasaurus in a three-way match. And man, I thought there was probably going to be some kind of shenanigans in a way that, like, with Luchasaurus walking off and turning his back onto his boss Christian Cage, like by chokeslamming him and help Darby Allin taking advantage for the win. But that obviously didn't happen, like for those who watch. But we're going to talk about that right now. It's going to be a triple threat match with these three individuals. This is where this start the match where Christian said, like, you going at it with Darby Allin, and then this was like, really, like, you're really gonna have me do all the work here? This is where it looked like it was gonna start off with Darby and it looked like it was about to start off with Darby and Christian Cage, but he threw some powdery substance right into Luchasaurus's eyes. He started saying, "Oh my eye, like it burns." And then this is where he got thrown out of the ring. This is where Darby Allin got Christian Cage in the ring. This is where he hits him with the cold blue sunset flip, and then he nearly got a 1-2, and then he got a 1 and a 2, and nearly got 3, but kicked out. Christian Cage kicks out in the last second of the pinfall count. This is where Darby Allin takes care of. This is where Darby Allin suicide dives him. This is where he started fighting off Luchasaurus, but he gained some consciousness. He throws him right into the ring. Barry Barricade. That's what it was. He was Barry Barricade. He started simply annihilating him all across the ringside area into the arena. This is where Luchasaurus Irish whips him back to that exact same Barry Barricade spot. This is where Luchasaurus got a steel chair. He throws it back in the ring. This is where he throws Darby Allin back in the ring. This is where Christian Cage puts him right in the chair sideways, or backwards, I should say. It's have him sitting on the backwards. This is where Christian Cage started kneeing his back with his arms up in the top rope, like it would do, like you would usually do, like with that move, like with this arm. What's that? I would say not arm. I mean the like knee. This case is the knees in the face, rather than being the foot in the back, or not the knee in the face, knee in the back and face first right into the ropes, like choking him simply. But he put his foot right onto his back, and had Darby put on Darby Allin's back and his throat and face right into the middle rope. And this is when the referee's like, I know this is when Aubrey Edwards was like I know this is a no DQ contest, but you don't really have to go this far and try to choke him out and basically attempt to murder him. Like, we're obviously trained professionals in this industry. That's what she was looking like. This is where Luchasaurus was sitting there to watch. This is where Christian Cage started screaming. He started putting his foot like he would normally do, except with the chair and the rope, like lodged right into his throat, in front of his throat, like right under his head. Of course, this is where Christian put his. This is where Ricky Starks put his the top part of the chair right into his face, started squeezing on there. This is where Darby Allin managed to counter, hit him with a right hand. This is where Luchasaurus grabs him and then hits him with a German suplex with him sitting on the chair. Like if he just committed a child abuse crime or of some sort. Yeah, of course. This is where right here we have Christian Cage was like, whoa. Like, Christian Cage was like, whoa, when Luchasaurus, as soon as tried to pin him, of course, yeah. Why did I just wait until to say it? Like, I know he did, obviously, my bad. But anyways, yeah, he tried to pin him. This is where Christian Cage was like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, no, don't pin him. Like you go over there and to the side, I pin him. And this is where Christian pins him. This is where Aubrey Edwards hit one. She hit two. And Darby Allin kicks out right after the two, like 2.1 second, I believe. This is where Christian Cage was very pissed off. He throws Darby Allin, Irish whips him. And then this is where he started to toy and this is where he started basically annihilating and abusing the poor TNT champion. This is where he has Luchasaurus do a double Irish whip and throw him right into the top left corner of Barry Barricade, like boom, and make him crash and burn. Like ow, the poor half dead professional wrestler, the young half dead professional wrestling, I should say, wrestler. This is where Christian Cage stepped up on that exact same steel steps and started taunting the fans and standing up right there like they're like doing this pose of for whatever reason. Like, although I know you're a heel and all, and heels usually be all cocky and arrogant, but you're going a tad too far with this gimmick. Yeah, more than you being obsessed of insulting dead wrestlers. Wrestlers as dead and deceased fathers, I should say. My apologies for the tongue tie. But yeah, like that's even worse than that. Like simply. And this is where, let's see right here. Got him. That's when he got back in the ring. And this is where he goes for. This is where he tried to hit him with a suplex, dipped right into the top rope into the corner. I was like, when he tried to do the suplex attempt, I thought he was doing reference his best friend Edge, and yeah, he tried to spear him as well. Like as soon as Darby Allin got Luchasaurus out of the ring, and I was like, dang, this is a whole many references, like a whole lot of references. After all, like at the end of this month, like it's been noted that Edge's contract's about to come up, and he's gonna have to either re-sign with WWE or find work elsewhere, like continue full-time in his acting gig, or even going to AEW. If that's only if he's negotiating with Tony Khan, of course. But anyway, we're gonna talk all about that in the news tomorrow. But this is where Darby Allin hits Christian Cage with a Scorpion Death Drop. This is where Darby Allin goes right up to the top rope. This is where he tries to attempt to do the coffin drop. This is where Luchasaurus did the smartest move and pull his best friend / boss right from the co-champion right off the ring. And this is where Darby Allin's like F it or flub it, I should say, like what Simon would say, and hit a double coffin drop right onto both Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. This is where both men were down, and then Darby Allin started crawling back up in his feet. This is where this is where he throws in what's his name back in the ring. He had trouble putting him back in the ring. Luchasaurus. This is where he puts him back in the ring, but he still managed to try to do a top rope move with him. Luchasaurus trying to get up off his feet. This is where, or on his feet, not off, on. This is where Luchasaurus get on his feet. This is where Darby Allin goes for a top rope axe handle. This is where Luchasaurus grabs him by the throat. He chokeslam him. Darby Allin does the amazing backflip, and he go backwards right into the top right turnbuckle, corner turnbuckle. This is where Luchasaurus try to go for an attack move. This is where he try to go for like a running back attack. This is where Darby Allin at the knees before he have a chance to attempt the move. This is where he got harmed by the TNT champion. This is where he hits him with a rolling flip stunner, like right off the top rope. And this is where Christian Cage got the championship, the TNT championship, and he hits him face first. They're yummy, right? I'm glad to hear that. But anyway, this is where he hits Darby Allin right in the face with the championship. This is where Darby Allin hits does the smartest dodging move that that anybody could have ever done into this all elite company. He rolled ducked and rolled right under Christian Cage. This is where he hits him with a double missile buckle drop kick right onto him and right through the bottom left corner of Tina the turnbuckle. He rolled out of the ring. This is where Luchasaurus hits him with the most devastating choke slam I have ever seen him do in quite a while. This is where Luchasaurus started holding on to the championship, saying like, it's about time. Like, I'm holding the championship without Christian Cage trying to dictate on who holds the championship into this co-championship thing. And this is when Christian Cage was like, "Come on, give me the championship. Like, I'm your champion. Like, come on. Like, I see, like, you're holding on to the championship. That's our championship. Like, don't listen to none of these people." And this is when the chances of saying Cage walked out, and I was like, really? Like, you gonna say, like, Cage walked out, like, you were gonna say that? Like, you don't have any other better insults to say to Christian Cage? This is where he tried to do this. At first, they looked like they're playing about to play tug of war. This is where he lets go because he saw Darby Allin coming. He hits him with a running. He tackles Christian Cage from behind. He makes some hits of Luchasaurus right into the face. This is where Darby Allin took a page out of Christian Cage's playbook. He whacks him with the TNT title to Luchasaurus. This is where Darby Allin goes right up on the. He tried to go for a pin with a 1 and a 2, but Luchasaurus kicked out. I was like, dang, Darby, like you know, like 50% of the time, 50% of the times where you hit your opponent with the championships normally don't always work into that method. Like, you should have hit him with the championship because for the fact it's no disqualification, but also you should have hit that right at, and then soon after that you should have hit your finishing coffin drop move for the 1, 2, 3. Like, that definitely would have been it. Like. And then I guess I was right about the whole shenanigans and there's going to be a controversial finish, but I'm going to get to that as soon as I done recapping with Darby Allin. But this is where Darby Allin goes up. He goes for a side swipe kick right into Luchasaurus' face. This is where he finally goes up on the top rope and hits a coffin drop right in the midsection first. This is where Christian Cage came back in the match, throws him right shoulder first right to Rita the ring post right in the outside. This is where Christian Cage took advantage. Go for a pin. 1, 2, 3. We got just. I'm not sure if it's a new or still champion. Like Bob would say, still your TNT champion, but only he's the TNT champion. I was like, and then this is when not Byron Saxton. I mean, this is the commentator here, like which is what's his name? Nigel McGuinness. He's like, way to go, Christian. Like, yeah, like I guess so. Like, he did a very excellent job, like of how being a much sneaky. Dishonest heel that he's playing, the role he's playing in AEW, of course. Like, he did an excellent job, like playing the mind games on Darby Allin and even sacrificing his self-proclaimed one and only true best friend, like, which is Luchasaurus. But yeah, he's the new. But yeah, I think this is where I think he is the new TNT champion for the fact that Luchasaurus was technically the champion, but even though at first he claims he was TNT champion, and then he started saying that they are co-TNT champions. But now he's the new individual TNT champion, him individually alone. Unfortunately, this is where he made Luchasaurus hugged him, and he gave him a big squeeze hug. This is why I thought this is where he's going to pull the trigger. Luchasaurus is going to pull the trigger and turn on him and end his alliance with the new TNT champion. But this is where he he hugs him, he lets go, and this is where Christian Cage goes right over the top rope, raising his new one TNT championship. This is where he tells Luchasaurus to carry him. This is what he did. Like he couldn't get any more crueler than this. But I think it's still going to be some kind of there's going to be some kind of what's that word? This is where he walks out disappointed, like Luchasaurus right in front of Christian Cage when they left. But I think there's going to be more shenanigans of a tease that they're going to break up, and then we're going to probably see that Luchasaurus is going to be his own free man, and then he's gonna turn face, and he possibly be the one that dethrones the captain of charisma or the captain of insulting wrestlers as deceased fathers. But yeah, I think this is how they're gonna do it. Like with him in his upcoming match, which that's gonna be later announced. Like he's gonna face the guy. He's gonna face the guy, obviously, because he technically didn't get pinfalled. He even suffered a pinfall loss. So we're gonna see more about that later on. But even though it's kind of a spoiler, but it's kind of not because I didn't been specific about it. But I would say, but anyway, I'll say like after that match, like he may retain, but Luchasaurus is finally gonna turn on him. This is where we're gonna see a choke slam. We're gonna see an upcoming big match. At the next pay-per-view, which will be Full Gear at November, and he finally becomes the TNT championship that he can finally hold as the actual champion. But anyways, what do y'all think about this? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. This is where we have the Don Callis family in a backstage interview after brutally attacking, and this is where he's like, "What I think about Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho are together and at the same side. Like I put them in the match in the Tokyo Dome." I was like, that may be true, but that was like half a decade ago. Like you just cannot let the past behind, can you, Don? Like you really can't really let go of the past when the ship already been sailed. Like why would you bring up something like? You're the reason why that may be true, but you also turned your back on them and stabbed them right in the back, if not in the head. And yeah, and he's like, and he said their name dropping Kota Ibushi, and he got a weak point, and that is Kenny Omega, and he's like Kenny Omega, and he loves Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi are closer than brothers, like that kind of. Can he make you weak? You always been weak, and he's like, and I'm not worried about this match. Like, not willing because it's gonna be great as the three of you are, as great as the Bushi is. You can get him here in as the problem for you because I got the guy, the Sammy Guevara, who left Chris Jericho, and then I also got the captain of the Alpha. It's called Alpha because he beat Kenny twice in 1 week. I mean, that may be true, but that may be also be true, but that doesn't mean that you can continue that winning streak of being 0-2 with Kenny Omega in AEW, like by bragging about that you're gonna end their lives as professional wrestling, as professional wrestlers. Yeah, you're gonna end their lives as professional wrestlers by brutalizing them with Sammy Guevara, like taking him out of Jericho and then out of the Alpha. He beat both Kenny and Jericho, and he's our third guy that's going to be facing Kota, Chris, and Kenny is none other than the man that beat both Jericho and Kenny Omega. And one more, his name is Will Ospreay. I'm like, I'm wondering who it could be. Like, duh, like it's Will Ospreay, obviously. And he's like, and you and Ibushi you're not gonna think that the Don Callis family will ever be this stronger with the likes of Sammy Guevara, Konosuke Takeshita, and Will Ospreay. See you in Seattle, and this ends once and for all. And I was like, let's hope it's not, they're trying to sound like an illegal serial killer of some sort, of saying it's going to end once and for all. But this is where we got a backstage interview, another backstage interview with Luchasaurus and Christian Cage, with Christian Cage becoming the actual new TNT champion, even though he took an advantage by pinning his own tag partner. Now, finally, you can really, and this is what Tony Schiavone said, you can find you really did. And this is what Christian did. That's what, and this is what Tim Mattel defense, and then the certified that is the undisputed TNT champion. I was like, wow, like you just acknowledging what happened at the beginning of last year. Like that had been called the undisputed TNT title, like in like the early middle of 2022, like when Sammy Guevara beat Cody Rhodes for the interim and the real AEW TNT championship. And that's the last time. Is that like a reference to Cody Rhodes of some sort, or is it like maybe, or even like he just love to be called the undisputed TNT championship? And he's like, I took Nick Wayne and his mother. Darby Allin, I took Nick Wayne and his mother away from you. And Nick, your father's away, and he's cheering me on, but dedicating this match to him, and that he's I'll follow me down and finish with once and for all. Moving on to the next challenger. This is what Tony Schiavone was like. It's been Tony Khan's been confirmed that you will defend that TNT championship, but it'll be in a rematch with Darby Allin because, technically he wasn't the one that was pinned, like I said earlier when I was recapping the match. And also he was like, and this is when Tony Schiavone also said, like, and also it's gonna be at Wrestle Dreams. And it'll be you and Darby Allin, like one-on-one, mano. Well, that's my version. But he's like facing. That's my version of saying one-on-one. But this is where Christian Cage was very pissed off. He stormed out like, I can't believe this is not fair. Like, I just won the championship. I proved Darby wrong that I am the better TNT championship. And this is where Tony Schiavone announced, like, it will be Christian Cage defending his newly won AEW TNT championship against Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match at Wrestle Dreams. I was like, wow, like impressive. Like I'll say impressive from the president of AEW, Tony Khan, for announcing this, or have Tony Schiavone announce this, of course, And then this is where he moves on to the I believe was Julia Hart against Kiera Hogan, which when I heard the announcement, like when I very first started watching this live, I was like, whatever happened to Willow Nightingale? Like, was she not medically clear enough to compete? Like, but it's been noted. Like, but anyway, But before I get to that, like, what do you think about Darby Allin against Christian Cage for the final time at Wrestle Dreams? Like, who do you think is gonna win? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, this is where we have, but it's been noted. But it's been noted that Willow Nightingale got attacked earlier on the night before the show even came on. Like, she got blindsidedly attacked and brutally assaulted and got mist-spat on her eyes. But my bad. This is where we still see the second match of the what's that? What he said, the best effing show, I believe, from the best effing show and former Mr. Monday Nights, Van Dam, and Super Ninja Austin is gonna tell you what happened tonight when he teamed with Hook. And then this is where they brought up about Jade Cargill, about their departure, and they say we hope she'd be successful outside of AEW like Roman Reigns is. And I was like, wow, like did they just name drop Roman Reigns? Like, even though he haven't wrestled for AEW, but this is shocking for him name dropping Roman, even though he's like the number one guy in wrestling, at least in WWE, in his respect his respective life, not life, his respective rights into AEW. I'm not AEW, into WWE, of course. That's the AEW. I mean WWE, of course. But yeah, this is where I was like, this is the first time. This is gonna be the second time where they're gonna talk about a WWE wrestler, like, because they also mentioned Kurt Angle when they're about a match when Rob Van Dam had teaming with his tag partner for tonight, Hook's father. He teamed with his father, which is Taz. He's in commentary in AEW, of course, but they said he teamed with Taz to take on Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle in a 2001 match, which that was a reference to, a wink, wink, nudge, nudge reference to the time where Rob Van Dam and Taz was in WWE when they bought out ECW and WCW, when it was WWE versus the Alliance. But that's going to be a wrestling topic to talk about in my upcoming video, like probably in the wrestling news video. But yeah, it was Rob Van Dam taking on Hook against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, this is Rob Van Dam's second ever match. And I'll say this was really good to watch, like good. But I'm gonna get to the point. This is where, even though it's gonna be a bit small, but I'm gonna talk about what happened right here. Let's see. This is when both members started attacking, doing some heel shenanigans. This is where Hook finally came back and hit both of them with exploder suplex, I believe. This is when Rob Van Dam was trying to tag in. And this is where he finally tags in. This is where he started hitting clotheslines on Matt Menard. And he ducked and hit a super kick right onto Angelo Parker. Some typical comeback move sets like from WWE 2K, like whether if it's 2K22 and 23. And he's also on my 2K22 and 23 games. I believe whoever has both of those games, they have the same thing, especially whoever had the DLC pack from 2K22 and then had to unlock them with the tokens on 2K23, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, this is where Rob Van Dam. Anyways, Rob Van Dam started hitting with wheel kicks to the Daddy Magics, and this is where he hits a rolling somersault senton right onto the front midsection of the Cool Hand Ange, and then this is where Daddy Magic Matt Menard stomp on him. And this is where he's like, I just stopped your legend, like something that I did for the first time. I was like, really, like you're really gonna talk about bragging about something about that you. Something about you're really bragging about something that you haven't done yet. Like really, like that's very weird and strange. Like, but yeah, this is where Rob Van Dam grabbed his leg. He switched and spin around and hit him with a wheel kick. This is where he tags in Hook. We're not tagging Hook. This is where. It's when Rob Van Dam tried to go for a 5-star frog splash. This is where Anna Jay tried to create a diversion, try to distract the referee. This is where Cool Hand Ange tried to sneak attack what's his name, Hook, and he actually clothesline Anna Jay out of the ring. This is where Hook got him into the what's it called, the red block, or what's that called? The red block, I believe. Yeah, red block or the red block. He started grabbing him, got him locked in. This is where, and then this is where right here we have, and then this is where Jake Hager tried to attack Jake Hager. He tried to close on him. He ducked, or not close on. He tried to hit him with a steel chair face first. He ducked and spin around and kicked the chair, do the Van Daminator right into Jake Hager's face, and he landed. And he fell. He fell right onto the outside. This is where RVD finally go up on the top rope. He hits the 5-star frog splash for the 1, 2, 3. I was like, wow, like this is impressive. Like he finally got a win in AEW. I'm not trying to keep saying impressive, but this is amazing for RVD finally getting a win. But even though his loss against Jack Perry wasn't in vain, he actually made Jack Perry. He put over Jack Perry and he made him into a star. And he don't need more stardom that he already has. Like for his legendary career in the professional wrestling business, whether it be in an ECW, WWE, TNA, and now AEW. Like he's making it worthwhile into his wrestling career, into any promotion that he works for. Yeah, he makes it a doleless, entertaining match. Like at any time, any place, anywhere. Like, but yeah, I'll give it a clap. I'll say this was probably the number 2 match of the night, on my opinion. If it hadn't been for that Texas Death Match, which we're going to talk about in a moment here, or I'll say not in a moment, I'll say probably in the next half hour of recapping the matches. But they celebrated, they raised hands, like he gave a huge hug to the FTW champion, the handsome Tasmanian Devil. And what do you thought about this match? And what do you think about the status of AEW, status of RVD's AEW appearance deal? Like, do you think it's going to be a full-time thing, or is it going to be just a couple of one-offs every here and there? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to move on to the next segment, which is Eddie Kingston challenging. He's talking about his latest win is a double. Before I get to that, I'm gonna talk about where Eddie Kingston he's now the new double champion after hitting that unexpected pop-up powerbomb right onto the Ring of Honor World Championship. They show he got double the championship, but he shook his hand and they respected each other. They said, me and Claudio has settled our differences and our unfinished business for over a decade ago. And then he said, I'm going to challenge for Wrestle Kingdom, I'm going to challenge not only my my New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, but also my winning new AEW, not AEW, ROH World Heavyweight Championship on the guy that Inoki had eyes on as one of his favorite wrestlers that he ever seen step into the ring. And love the belief in the wrestling business, which is none other than the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Let's see. What's his name? Kazuyori Shibata, yeah. Kazuori Shibata, yeah, that's what his name is. Kazuori Shibata. I hope I pronounced that correctly, by the way, Mr. Shibata, yeah. Kazuri. His name is Kazuri Shibata. Kazuri Shibata. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I'm usually getting tongue-tied when I say Japanese wrestlers' name. But yeah, Eddie Kingston's going to face him while defending his Ring of Honor, his welly new Ring of Honor World Championship, along with his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship at the upcoming Wrestle Dreams event, which I believe Eddie Kingston's going to retain, and he's going to hold both of those straps until, for the next month or two, when someone from New Japan beats him for the Openweight Championship. I believe he's going to lose that first, but I think he should hold that for a while and be a greater double champion than any other wrestlers, including from a certain Titan, that's the big top guy, that's a certain undisputed champion in the headquarters. In Titan Towers headquarters, that's from the Titan Towers headquarters in the Connecticut-based promotion. And nothing against WWE, but it's just the way they booked him. But anyways, let's move on to the next match, which is Julia Hart taking on No, wait. This is where we have the Dark Order first. let's see right here. It looks like the Dark Order got a new gimmick now because they were start saying like things like you need structure, you need rule. Like, don't tell me this is another WWE reference that's going to be their gimmicks for in the foreseeable future in AEW. I hope we're not too much. You need structure, you need rules, like you need order. And this is where John Silver's like the Dark Order. I'm like, don't tell me. Dark Order's good, and then this is where Alex was like, we're here for you. And this is where Evil was like, but not forever. This is where they start showing their teeth and Evil Uno's eyes. I'm like, I don't know what's up with this new gimmick from these two dark side duos being this proper rule following gimmick. Like, because it reminds me of them trying to take a shot at WWE by saying like they try to properly follow the rules, but there's times that they haven't followed the rules. But that's a story for another day. That's like if we're talking about something hypocritical from WWE in that perspective. But we're gonna talk about like what do you think about this gimmick about the Dark Order ever since they lost that Trios titles match last night at the 2-hour Grand Slam edition of AEW Rampage. And make sure y'all check out, for those who haven't watched, make sure y'all check out episode 44. It's already on my content on my YouTube channel, on Super Ninja at Super Ninja Austin 213. Make sure you check that out if you guys want, of course. But up next we got Julia Hart taking on or not Julia Hart. It was but before we have the match, this is where we have the Kingdom talking trash on the Best Friends and challenge them in the match, saying telling Chuck Taylor's like, Chucky, like you didn't really care when you didn't really care about Trent Beretta's neck, like when he got injured that one time, like when one match during the match. I can't recall which one they were talking about. They were saying and they were talking utter rubbish on them, and they challenged them to match at next week's AEW Collision, which that's probably gonna be upcoming at which that's upcoming for which that's not upcoming. That's been confirmed by AEW. We're gonna see that. I was like, why are you taking your anger out on Best Friend when you could do it on either I'm Better Than You, Baby, or Righteous, and be jealous of that they're getting a title opportunity and not y'all? Like, but then again, AEW might did a successful job not doing that because they put themselves into some kind of a corner. So maybe it's for the best that they just cancel. They probably best not to have them be in the programming with them and just wait until the Righteous beat I'm Better Than You, Baby, with some outside shenanigans with the Kingdom at Wrestle Dreams, and then that's where they're going to be in the feud. That's where we probably see some kind of a turn, like in November between Adam Cole or MJF, which we're probably gonna have to wait until 2 months or a month and a half for that to happen as we go forward for Full Gear. And as you know, like I predicted, like about Adam Cole, like probably gonna get his opportunity again for AEW. We're gonna talk about that more on the news and as we watch more of AEW, what's next for the All Elite Brands upcoming shows and pay-per-view. But yeah, y'all let me know about y'all's opinions about the matter down in the comments below. This is where they start this is where the Kingdom start wearing their wristband, saying this is neck health month, because they started acting like some neck, like a couple of neck therapists. What's that word? Like, what's that word for the neck therapist? Like, they're actually being like if they care about necks being injured and broken, like in the wrestling business, then it's not a guaranteed. Like if you're gonna make it past such an injury. But this is like they say, next strong, and we've been hoping and praying that, and they like saying like we've been hoping and praying that Roderick Strong will speedily recover from his neck injury. Yeah, basically. But yeah, and then like unlike Adam Cole, like he don't really like that the guy that don't care about his former best friend. Like unlike us, unlike Adam Cole, like we actually like us, like we actually care about Roderick Strong. Like, and then we're gonna challenge them. We're gonna beat them, and we're also gonna move on who's gonna onto the not AEW, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, which they were insinuating. I believe they were doing like. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. This is where we finally get Julia Hart taking on Kiera Hogan, which I won't get too much in the details, but only just Kiera Hogan tried to bring in some offense, but it wasn't enough to put away the first ever female House of Black member, because she ran right through Tina the Turnbuckle, right through Rita the ring post. She slams her right back right into the canvas, and this is where Julia Hart Irish whipped her right into the other side of the corner, and she hit her right to the elbow. I was like, man, like she may be small, but she has the abilities like a 7-foot, 300-pounder right now by simply annihilating poor Kiera Hogan. But I'll say she's not that poor, because she insulted one of and claimed that she copied off one of my favorite wrestlers in all professional wrestling. And what do you think that professional wrestler that she claims that she was copying off her, like, and stealing her gear? Like, y'all gonna have to figure it out for yourselves, because I'm not telling. But anyways, this is where none of that matters right now. But anyway, this is where Julia Hart hit her with a snapmare. This is where she's grabbing onto her braids, her white and her braided hair, like her white and blue braided dyed hair, and slam her head right into the canvas. I was like, dang, like I wouldn't be surprised if he suffered a concussion alone just by getting hit with that. This is where Julia Hart tried to finish her off with the running clothesline from hell, like in the reverse. This is where we finally see what's her name, Julia Hart finally hit her submission finishing move, and then it was like the same thing like what happened to Sky Blue yesterday, and then she was tapping out, and then this is where the referee told her to stop, like you made your point, like come out, and this is where Sky Blue tried to come out, and this is where what's her name? Sky Blue came out and tried to save Kiera Hogan by to run out of there, run in there and try to fight her off. But before she had a chance to hit some offense right onto the female House of Black member. Yeah, the first female House of Black. I should say the first and only female member of the House of Black. Like. Spat the black mist right into Sky Blue's eyes, and she couldn't do nothing about it. And they had the referees and the security bring her a towel to wipe off her eyes with the black mist. This is where she starts smirking and looking right to the camera in a dark, demented manner. Of course, she was like this, like if you can see my very evil mimicking grin from the. Like I'm copying it off from Julia Hart, and this is when Brody Key was like, "Do you see this? Do you see this? Like that's gonna happen to this will not end. And this nightmare for the women's, and including the mid-card women's division, will not end." And he's like, over 24 months, like this will not end. Like we're gonna do it until the one. The last lost. What he said the last lost soul, and that is Chris Statlander. Like you better accept our challenge, or we're gonna continue like continue humiliating and destroying everybody in the women's division. I was like, well, first of all, you don't demand the champion to accept your challenge unless she wants to. But it's obvious that she is, or because, like, I'll say for this as a simple fact, because why not have this match? And two, Chris Statlander wants to be a fighting champion. We're obviously gonna see this match at Wrestle Dreams. But two, why would you want to do that just to prove a statement that you're gonna do regardless? Like, that just don't make any sense. Like, Chris Statlander's gonna expect this from guys like you, and the rest of the House of Black members. But for now, it's gonna be Chris Statlander and Julia Hart, unless we see some best friends like Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor going to be in a program with the House of Black. The best friends get the house. But that's probably future plans. We're going to leave it right there for now. But what y'all thought about this this call-out challenge from Brody King doing for Julia Hart? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But this is where we have Andrade taking on Switchblade Jay White, which I'm going to get to the point of the most interesting and entertaining side of the match, which I'll say that's like 85 or even 75% of the case in this match. Because I'll say this was probably the third highlighted match of the night, in my opinion. What I would say with the opener match, which was Darby Allin and Christian Cage, I believe, was it Darby Allin and Christian Cage and Luchasaurus for the triple threat. But this is where we have Switchblade Jay White into a headlock right onto the El Idolo Star. This is where he had him on for quite a while, and then this is when the referee was like, "Hey, Andrade, are you still with us? Can you continue this match? Can you fight back? Or you cannot." And this is where Andrade started managing to come back, get back on his feet, and try to come back. He started shaking, doing the shake, going crazy, hyped up into the match. This is where he started hitting elbows right onto Switchblade Jay White's midsection. This is where Jay White slams him back of his head first right into the canvas. This is where Jay White starts stumbling, trying to hang on somewhere so he could regain his balance. This is where he tried to grab Andrade. Andrade has him in the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. Speaking of that catchphrase from Simon Miller, this is where I'm going to point out for Simon for him before he does his ups and down video. Whenever he does it, what's it probably tomorrow afternoon or Monday afternoon when he does the ups and down, because which it could be either one, which if it's not Sunday, because for the fact he's touring right now all over the European country, being this, I think, the progressive wrestler right now, and wrestling all kinds of European wrestlers right at the moment, possibly future WWE and AEW wrestlers, and other promotions, Golden Boys, but yeah, Simon's gonna wrestle there. But back to the Simon give me an up sign. I want to point that out, and I want to help Simon to give him a up for him, for the fan that gave Simon the up, just for a tribute and for out of generosity, courtesy to Super Ninja Austin and to his SNA podcast. And you're welcome, by the way, in advance, Simon Miller. But anyways, this is where he kicks out of the most devastating move of all sports entertainment. Jay White kicks him right into the left knee. This is where Jay White started lifting him up. This is where he hits him with a knife edge chop. And then this is where Andrade shoves him right in the face. Here's where Jay White chops him right back. It was very deadly and devastating. And then this is where he continued to do that. And he started doing it multiple times. This is where he started doing This is where he tried to go for. He did throw the gun point right into Andrade. This is where Andrade hits him with the boot, dodging the boot, I should say, Mirage elbow strike right into his face, where running right to, looking like his version of a Judas effect, like a boot trick version of the Judas effect, like with the spinning elbow. He tried to go for a 1, he tried to go for a 2, but he kicked out at 2.999. This is where the referee started doing this double competitors into the floor count, like with the 1, 2, 3 until 4. This is where both Andrade and Jay White got up, and started nailing punches right into their faces like this, and they started going back and forth with those punches. And then this is where Jay White started going for a forearm. This is where Andrade started going chops like if he was his father-in-law. This is where Jay White started going back and took a page right out of his father-in-law's playbook too. And then Andrade slapped him right back. This is where he started doing a chop off, trying to see if either man could do it better than one another, and even do it better than Gunther as well. And this is where Jay White tried to go for a big boot right into the face. This is where he grabs onto his foot. He'd swing him into some kind of a dragon. I'll say like a dragon screw slam. This is where Andrade gets up. This is where he hits him with another dragon screw swing. This is where Andrade ducks, runs, hits a running forearm right into the switchblade. And then this is where both men were down. This is where Juice Robinson was like, come on, get back up. This is where Andrade kicks up. He did a kip up. It was like very similar to his wife, like which is she's in the other company. She's in the company that comes on the night before on the Blue Brand. The other company's Blue Brand show. And it's kind of similar with like I always tease with Jimmy Uso and Trinity, like with Trinity and Impact the night before SmackDown comes on, with SmackDown coming on Friday nights, like it came on like something similar like 15 years ago, like towards the end of the Ruthless Aggression era and the early modern PG era. But anyway, this is where he tried to go for a double knee right into the face of Jay White. This is where Andrade stops, because this is where both 3 members of the Bullet Club Gold, like the Guns and Juice Robinson, grabs him out of the ring. This is where he started thinking like his wife once again. He started going up on the top rope. I'm not sure if he's trolling with the fans or paying tributes to his wife that he's been married to for the past year, because he went up on the top rope, hit all 4 members of the Bullet Club Gold with the moonsault. This is where he picks up not Juice Robinson, Switchblade Jay White. This is where the fans started to chant out "Holy shit!" like "Holy shit" chants. Hopefully, I don't get restricted into that. But anyways, let's see right here what happens next. But yeah, this is where. But I'm gonna get to the point. Like this is where I'm trying to get when they get back in the ring. This is where Andrade start trying to hit his father-in-law and his wife's move, which is the figure 4, and also transition to the figure 8 with his hands up in the air. This is where the Guns try to create a distraction right to the referee, where the referee can't see, where Juice Robinson has what's else in mind. Like he starting to be like his wife, or his wife. Now, or his wife started running from Juice Robinson because they start having because they both have this very insane, mentally unstable gimmick that is so hilariously entertainment to the point like you can make fun of it into a meme like easily. But anyway, this is where Juice Robinson grabs onto some kind of weapon, which was when Colt and Austin Gunn was getting distracted. This is where, clipboard. It was like a contract clipboard, the back of a contract clipboard. He stomps on Andrade's midsection. He whacks him right into the face with that clipboard. This is where Andrade this is Andrade knocked out Cole. This is where it gave Switchblade Jay White enough time to hit the Blade Runner for the 1, 2, 3. I was like, dang, like, and I didn't even notice this until now when they showed the records on Andrade's win and loss records. Before he lost this match against Switchblade Jay White, he was undefeated, beating the likes of Scorpio Sky and what's his name, and Buddy Matthews being 4-0. Like, but yeah, and what do y'all think about this? About Switchblade Jay White being the one breaking his collision undefeated streak, and do you think it was the right call to do so? Which I believe most of y'all would say yes. But yeah, y'all let me know about that opinion down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next. And this is where we had a promo, what's that called? A vignette, a promo vignette with Ortiz asking like why he do not want a team with him anymore, and also like we've been such a team for 14, such a great team in 14 the whole time. And he even pointed out like you had a lot to say on social media about what. Like what a way to find out years of having your back meant nothing. Good luck without without your crutch. Like, and he said, y'all also say a lot about that on TV too. About like you can take you. Like you do things on do things on your own. Like you have no crutch, no teammate, no ally. Just straight solo. And he's like, he's like, after I tell you come over here, you just walked away from me. And he's basically asking him why. Like, and that's what you always do. You ran from your problems. And he's like, guess what? You're not going to run much longer, which is a tease that we could possibly see a few. And for the guys for guys who's watching this that haven't been watching the wrestling news all over the internet, especially on YouTube, like that Santana and Ortiz, like had some kind of disagreement to the point that they no longer don't want to team with one another and work together anymore. But I believe Tony Khan convinced both men to face each other one another and put their differences behind them and then work with one another into this feud and settle their differences into this rivalry and to have a match at an upcoming big AEW event to settle their differences. And if they want to go to the separate ways, they can. But this is very but at the time, this was very shocking for them not wanting to team with each other anymore. Like, wow, and they've been best friends for nearly 15 years. Like you would expect them to be a team no matter where they go, even if they split up. Like it'll be all part of the skit into the wrestling show, and not literally in real life. Like they don't want to team with one another. But what do you think about them being in a potential future rivalry with Ortiz and Santana? Facing off one-on-one, face-to-face. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're going to move on to the next. This is where we have, up next we have FTR taking on the Workhorsemen. And I would say this was probably... I'll say if they didn't have so many matches on the AEW that was really great, I would say this will be at least on the number 2 list. But I'll say number 4 for being just a average tag team match to say, of course. But this is where Ozzy Opens comes in the ring, and they not comes in the ring. They come ringside, sitting with the commentators. And then the commentators were very generously nice to the former Ring of Honor and New Japan Strong and the IWGP Tag Team Champions. But I was like, this is very unusually properly formal for these two tag teams, the Aussie Open, for wearing suits or tuxedos, looking like a couple of wrestling James Bond cosplay players, of course. But yeah, this is where we have the match. This is where I'm gonna get right here. I'm gonna talk about I'll say they probably have like 5 matches into this card. I'll say that will be the 4th best match of the night, in my opinion. I'll say if it was against someone like an Aussie Open or I'm Better Than You, Baby, or Righteous or the Hardy Brothers, then it would got the 2nd place because it would be like main event worthy if they didn't have the Texas Deathmatch main event to show. But anyway, this is where we have the tag match. We start off with Cash Wheeler and this smaller guy from the Workhorsemen. I apologize for not knowing their names. They're from Ring of Honor, and I'm not really a Ring of Honor kind of guy. My apologies. I need to start doing the research, in case if I need to remember wrestlers' name if they're making appearances on AEW, I can just call them and pointing it out. But I'm gonna try to do my best of recapping this the best I can. But anyway, this is where Cash Wheeler power slams him. This is where the small guy counters him. He twists his arm like. He looks like a powerhouse despite being like a light heavyweight kind of guy. Like this is where Cash Wheeler kicks up. He twists his arm, slams him right to the wrestling mat. This is where he starts twisting continuously. This is where he flips over and kicks up, and then he flips over Cash Wheeler. This is where he hits Wheeler with a rolling roll up, which is the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. This is where he hits him with a running knee strike kit, and then this is where he tags in the big fella guy from the Team Workhorsemen. This is where he try to hit him with a running attack move. This is where Cash Wheeler ducks. He started hitting him with punches and chops. And sorry about that. There's a little itchy eye. But anyways, this is where he tags in Uncle Dax Harwood. And then that's when it was the big fella and Dax Harwood. This is where he chops him so devastating. He turned around. He was bending over down feeling that pain so much. Like it lasted for like 20 seconds before he can get back into the match and fight back against this big guy. He chopped him so hard and so loud to the point I think he made Gunther envious, like even more than he ever been before. Like if he saw somebody doing the biggest and the loudest and the hardest and the toughest and devastating chops in all of professional wrestling. But this is where Dax Harwood was bent down and was screaming inside agony and with agony and like for like 20 seconds straight. This is where the big fella got him in the corner. And he's yelling at Dax Harwood saying, "Show me what you got." And that's when Dax Harwood started hitting knife edge chops right onto from one half of the Workhorsemen, the big member of the Workhorsemen. This is where he started chopping him. And this is where he twisted him, and he hits Dax Harwood with a gut buster. I was like, dang, he body slams him. And he hits him with a diving headbutt, and he tried to go for a pin. And then when the referee counted to 1, he kicked out right at 1 even. I was like, how? I was expected to be 2 even, but not 1. Because even though that headbutt may not have hurt as much as that chop, but at the same time, I would expect it to be 2, when he got hit, because he would be too distracted of feeling that pain. This is where he Irish whips him right into the corner and hits him with a knife edge chop. This is where he tags in the smaller guy from the Workhorsemen. This is where he hit him with a forearm. This is where he hits him with a chop, and this is where the big fella hits the most biggest and the most incredible rolling senton springboard splash right in the ring with Dax Harwood, which if anybody was not familiar with FTR, you would probably think this is gonna be it for AEW Tag Team Champions. But no, this referee went one. The referee had 2, but he kicked out at 2 even. This is where the big fella started stomping right onto Dax Harwood. This is where he started hitting the right hand right into Dax Harwood's head. This is where he tags in the smaller guy. This is where he started hitting double chops and roundhouse kicks. This is where, or not double chops. He did a chop, and then this is where the smaller guy started hitting double roundhouse kicks right into the ribs. This is where Dax Harwood was like, "Come on, like try to hit harder than that." This is where he hits him, but he hits him with a knife edge chops, which you could probably hear echoing around the arena, which it probably wasn't loud as the big guy did to him, but it was loud enough that you can hear that wasn't fake. Like, obviously, like when you're chopping and kicking and punching, like, and slamming, like, that is not fake. Like, it may be planned and predetermined and all, but that doesn't mean that it's fake. They just doing their jobs, being professionals and hitting their respective moves on one another. And for those skeptic fans, they need to stop, or else they're gonna experience for themselves if they don't stop provoking the professional wrestlers that hate that word. To those professional wrestlers that hate for those wrestling marks, not wrestling marks, those internet marks, I should say, that talk so much trash about that. But anyway, this is where the small guy started hitting the roundhouse kick. This is where Dax Harwood started chopping. This is where they started doing a chop and kickoff. Like, come on, like, that's all you got. They started yelling on each other, like, I can't feel that thing. Like, I got a chest and a rib cage of steel, basically. This is where Dax Harwood picks him up and hits him with a brain buster. This is where what's his name? I don't know his name. I forget. The small guy, he tags in the big guy, which is here's where he tried to hit the knife edge chop. And then this is where Cash Wheeler ducks. He clotheslined him out and looking like a similar spot where Snitsky did with Paul London on that 2005 Royal Rumble. Like, where he clotheslined him, ducked, and he dug around and he hit him with what was the most deadliest clothesline that you could probably ever seen in professional wrestling when Paul London hit a 360 and landed right on the concrete floor. But yeah, this is where the big guy of the Workhorsemen hits him with a Shining Wizard Instigiri kick right onto Dax Harwood's face. And then this is where he crawls right into the Workhorseman's corner. This is where he hits him with the most deadliest cannonball that I ever seen, even over Kevin Owens' cannonball, even though that's very painful and powerful itself. But he did it more harder, like completely harder than anybody that ever did the cannonball in their entire wrestling career. And I was like, how did Dax kicked out of this move? After this tag team finisher, when he tags in the smaller guy, he hits this double foot stomp, to make it a special. It'll be like an extra icing, make it be the extra icing on the finishing cake. This is where he went up. This is where the big guy goes up on the top rope. This is where he's getting ready to hit his finisher. Right after the small guy hit him with a somersault senton right off the top rope, diving on the Cash. This is where he hits this gigantic moonsault, the big guy, right on the Dax Harwood. And then this is where he thought it was going to be hit. 1, 2, and it was 2.999. Everybody, even the commentators were so like, oh my God, did he just literally kicked out? I believe so. This guy's really tough. He's like a tag team version of Dusty Rhodes or somebody back in the day, like a Dusty Rhodes or a Ric Flair, like Uncle Dax is. Wasn't he trained by Dusty Rhodes in his time at the PC, at the WWE PC? I don't know, him and Cash Wheeler, but we'll probably talk all about that in the wrestling news, when I make my upcoming wrestling news very soon. But if the topic ever be brought up about anything about something related about the insider of FTR. But anyway, this is where the big guy couldn't believe it. This is where he started thinking This is where he started trying to go for a crossface. This when and the fans wouldn't stop saying "Holy S" because how did Dax Harwood would kick out of such a move like that? Even though it was us hardcore wrestling fans know that it's like most of what's going on in AEW scripted, and then now for Dax Harwood to plan to kick out, but still, like how did he kick out of that? Like for such a move that's very devastating, like it would make John Moxley's John Moxley surprising unkick out make it look like a total clown circus sideshow, like compared to a circus clown sideshow, of course, like compared to what happened tonight with this tag team match. I was like, and I bet all y'all are gonna be criticized. Like, how come Super Ninja Austin? How come you didn't make this the second biggest match of the night? Like the second biggest and best match of the night. I was like, well, I can give you two reasons. Like one, I can say one, it was the Darby Allin and Christian Cage versus Christian Cage versus Luchasaurus Triple Threat TNT Championship match, and the RVD and Hook match against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. That's why I would say that this gets the fourth place match, even though this is where Cash Wheeler hits him with a gory slam right on face first, right into the hardest part of the ring, which is known as the ring apron, like right onto the smaller guy. This is where the big guy in the ring hits a right strike right into Dax Harwood. This is where he tried to go for a some kind of a Hurricane Rana, some kind of amazing Hurricane Rana move, like that would make Keith Lee's version of the Hurricane Rana look like a piece of cake. But anyways, this is when he caught him and intercepted him to a pop-up powerbomb. This is where Dax Harwood tied his legs together into his right leg and spin him around and pulled him back into a sharpshooter like his wrestling idol, Bret the Hitman Hart. And then he got it locked in. He had no choice, but the big man had no choice but to tap, or else he's probably gonna snap both of his leg bones off. Well, metaphorically, of course, because he would. But I bet Dax Harwood would never do that because he's a trained professional. Unless something accidental happens, then that's a different story. Unless he doesn't like the Workhorse Man, but it looks like he has plenty of respect, even though he's not friends with the two guys. But he has plenty of respect of being very successful tag team wrestlers and nearly beat them for the AEW Tag Team Championship and took them over the limit. But anyways, yeah, we still have the AEW Tag Team Champions, FTR. This is where Aussie Opens came in the ring. But before they came in the ring, they were right next to commentators behind the timekeeper's desk, and then started clapping for the current reigning defending AEW Tag Team Champions. This is where they took off their headsets off. They started continuing to talk. And then this is when the commentator said, "Thank you for putting on your Sunday clothes." I was like, oh, wow, everybody's noticing their Sunday church tuxedos that they were wearing on. This is where Aussie Opens went right on the apron. This is where they both went in. And this is when Mark Davis said his signature catchphrase, "Aussie, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie." And then this is when the fans were like, "What?" And then this is when he told FTR saying, "Congratulations, keeping those championships around y'all's arms." And then because in 8 days in time, you're gonna have a fight for your lives. I was like, I guess he's right on one thing about that, because either way, whether if Aussie Opens becomes the the AEW Tag Team Champions, or if FTR retains their Tag Team Championship, it's still gonna be a fight for both men's lives. And I'll say there's a 50% chance that I believe that Aussie Opens could dethrone FTR, but FTR is doing a successful job being the reigning defending champions and successfully defending them with no matter which tag team they face. Even the Young Bucks, they successfully defeat at Wembley Stadium's All-In pay-per-view. But But I think it should happen, and they could be bragging into the FTR's face, saying we every time like I would say like 2 or 3 to 1 with you guys, like which is like 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, like we beating you. Like I would say, yeah. But yeah, they're gonna rub that in the face. They continue to do so as the AEW Tag Team Champions on to be the next dominant and reigning defending tag team champions. But what do y'all think? Who do you think is gonna win? Who's gonna? Do you think FTR is gonna retain, or they're gonna lose their tag title? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But we're gonna continue about this promo. This is where Mark Davis got the microphone. When y'all say out of luck about being the best tag team, we say we're the greatest tag team champions in the world. Like, well, we are the best tag teams in the world today. And I was like, yeah, I'll say give them about the top 5 or top 10 list. I would say they're like one of the best, if not the greatest tag team in professional wrestling. I gotta give credit when it's due. Like when me watching them on AEW from the past recent months of them being on AEW television with the likes of what was that, Trey? Oh, Scooby-Doo. Really?
Yeah.
You're watching with Dad?
You want to act like Scooby-Doo?
Oh, yeah. Viewers, you're going to get a cosplay of the Scooby-Doo Harlem Globetrotters episode. This whole country is full of weirdos. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo. But anyways, back to the recap of AEW Collision. We got this is where Kyle Fletcher starts saying, well, we heard about what people saying like what happened to whatever happened to Aussie Opens, like when they took him to the limit in a 5-star classic back a few months ago. And he was like, maybe we haven't lived up to that hype yet, but that is one. And that's one thing why we are challenging you into this match at Wrestle Dreams for those Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And then we need to prove to these people, and that's when they start blurring the words out, which we couldn't understand what they're saying. Like, it probably wasn't inappropriate, but it's probably some kind of audio malfunction. But this is where they finally fixed it. This is where Kyle Fletcher. We're gonna show that we are everything we say we are. That's why it's important to win those AEW Tag Team Championships. And this one, Dax always like, yeah, you're right. Like you've been. But I couldn't help but notice that you were a sacrificial lamb to Adam and his friend Max, and we couldn't help but notice you were also a sacrificial lamb to Chris Jericho and his former best friend Sammy Guevara, which he's no longer teaming with him. And then you also been. Well, I'm begging you. I'll beg you. I go into my damn knees. I'm on my hands and knees. Like I want the biggest, baddest bastard tag team and the greatest tag team at that to be in this match, to face you guys for the AEW Tag Team Championships in the world. Of course. And then October 1st, you're facing the greatest tag team in professional wrestling history, which I agree. I'll say, especially outside of WWE, like these are the great, and even they even showed they were the greatest in WWE as the Revival, like winning belts like the NXT Tag Team Championship. And then even though they were humiliated in the main roster, they managed to show they could make a tag team championship look relevant, even for the Raw Tag Team and SmackDown Tag Team Championship, even in a shorter reign. But anyways, and this is when the commentary was like, "Preach, Dax, preach." And I was like, yeah, like amen, like yeah, into this wrestling choir, of course, metaphorically, like because there's no such thing as a wrestling choir, at least not yet. But anyways, this is what Dax Harwood said. And you bring that. Like if you're not gonna bring that dog and release him out of this leash, like then leave the arena while you can. Top guys are out, and then that's when he walked out. Like, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a great match, and I hope I have some kind of money by then. Like, some kind of money to buy in to get the pay-per-view too. Like, and even watch this match because this looks like this is gonna be their next greatest pay-per-view that AEW has ever hosted into their wrestling promotion. But what y'all think was going to happen between these AEW Tag Team Championships? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Let's move on to this is where we have a backstage interview with CJ Perry, which is Miro's self-proclaimed hot wife that he always keeps bragging about, like Sammy Guevara does with his wife. But anyway, this is where CJ Perry said to Lexi, when Lexi told her, like, the fans were wondering, like, why here? And then this is when she started explaining, which CJ Perry was like, well, the Redeemer, which is my husband Miro, like, who I love so much, is he's lost his way, and I managed to come back here and help him, and then. But unfortunately, he's pretty preoccupied with some past temptations. And this is when Miro came in the room and heard what his wife was saying. Now, I was doing those temptations to test you, CJ. Like, test her for what? Like, to see if she would still be on your side no matter what. Like, but you don't do that. If there's something that against y'all's commitments and when y'all very first became husband and wife, like, you shouldn't be doing those kind of temptations or trying to attempt to do so. But anyways, yeah, that's not my business. But anyways, that's my general opinion. But and then again, this is all part of the wrestling skit. Like, so I'm not gonna take this way too seriously. But yeah, like, but I'll say as a perspective, as the wrestler and a wrestling couple, like, y'all, you shouldn't be doing those temptations. Oh, excuse me. Ain't it in the living room, your car? But anyways, this is where he said, "According to temptation, is like the only temptation is you. Like, you're the only temptation, though. Like the lights, the cameras, the front. I thought, okay, that makes sense. Plenty of times, but plenty of things doing. He's like, I love to do the hustle. I love to in the wrestling world and chasing." He was like, I want to come back and wrestle, and he's like, the reason why I came here because I want to go back to being a wrestler and then hustle and do everything that I always wanted to do in this business, and it makes me feel alive in the process. But this is where Miro's like, you came here just to save me. And he's like trying to begin the puzzle, and it's chasing goals for me, and it makes me come alive back to like I came to this path just to save them, but now I'm gonna have to save. And it's just like, have to do what? Like save me? And this look like it does look like a. This looks like a girl that I would say it looks like a girl that needs to be saved. Like, and this is where Miro started thinking, like he was like, baby, this is when Lana was like, well, you do what you have to do, and I do what I have to do. And this is when Miro's like, and this is when the former Lana, CJ Perry's like, I go, how about I go the my path and you go to yours. I believe that's what she said.
I don't see you. Come on. Give my keys.
Try you. You do what you go do what you go do, and then I do, and you go do your path. And he's like, but please probably do one thing. And this one thing, like, is there anything of love or heart for me? Like, and he's like, please don't lay a hand on my future clients and my future clients that I'm gonna be managing. And this is where And this is when CJ Perry's like, "Can you promise that?" And then this is where Miro walked off. He's like, looked like he's not going to keep any promises about anything of the sort. And what do you think about this? About the arrival of CJ Perry in AEW and being in an angle with her real life husband Miro that she'd been a manager with from nearly 10 years in WWE. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna. This is where we got the Texas Death Match this time for the main event, which is Bryan Danielson taking on the absolute Ricky Starks. This is where they start fighting and doing like they would do like if it was a normal match, but they took it outside. Bryan Danielson hit, put him right on top on the barricade. This is where he puts him on the top of the barricade, but in between, hitting him with a place that you don't want to hit that hurts the most. This is where Bryan Danielson goes up and runs right into Ricky Starks and axe handles him and attacks the former FTW champion. This is where I start hitting left hand right onto Ricky Starks, right on the audience, and even throw a cup of beer, a full cup of beer right into his face, like. And make him splash and hit right to his face, making him soak and burn with the liquid right into burning right into inside of his flesh. I bet, but it's probably nice and cold for him on the outside, and for him go right through his probably cool on the outside, but burning on the inside, making him suffer with the boiling in his inner. Body parts. But anyway, this is where he threw a trash can right on top of full of trash. This is where he started continue hitting right hands right into the absolute Rick, starting headbutting right on top of the stairs right into the audience. This is where the fans start cheering like, yeah, let's go, like AEW. Like this guy's got more and more hardcore. This is where Bryan Danielson grabbed onto his head, and then he started hitting left hand right into the absolute Ricky Starks. This is where security and Aubrey Edwards start following him and make sure the match all stays according to plan, and also so no fans won't attack them or try to ask for autographs and whatnot. This is when Bryan Danielson hits a roundhouse turning kick, like what used to call the yes kicks, right into the corner of Barry Barricade, hitting him repeatedly with that move. This is when Bryan Danielson started going towards the back in the ring side when hitting him right towards to that direction and then making him go over the barricade and go back in the ring side. This is where Bryan Danielson hit him with a headbutt, and this is where he started hitting right hands right into his midsection and a chop and throwing him right over Barry Barricade. With the fans started touching him and grabbing on his shoulders and shake. I was like, yeah, that's very way too close. And that's when the staff security guards start saying, okay, that's enough touching. Even though you always probably always dream of seeing him this close, not like in that way though, of course, but in the ring, watching him inside the wrestling ropes, But this is where Ricky Starks do a crossbody right over everybody, the fans, the security guard, and Bryan Danielson himself, right off the top rope, right through the audience in the inner side of the barricade. And this is where he throws him back in the ring. I mean, not back in the ring, back in the ringside area. Right after that insane spot that he started, of course. This is where he started hitting him with knife edge chops, making him go on the other side of the ringside area with the commentators onto the announcer's desk. This is where Bryan Danielson started fighting back, started hitting him back. This is where he started hitting him face first like about 10,000 times in a row on top of the Allen announce table. And then but this is where he started continuing hitting chops, even though they weren't as loud as the last two matches, like with especially like the FTR and the Workhorsemen match, like with them chopping the absolute daylights out of each other, or more like the absolute sensation out of each other, I should say. Yeah. But this is when Ricky Starks grabbed onto the microphone. He started blading Bryan Danielson to death, which I believe it probably was planned because they're kind of the opposite of WWE, if it wasn't planned and if they saw a wrestler blading on purpose, then they get charged $25,000. But yeah, fortunately for these guys, when they get bladed, what if it's an accident on purpose, they don't get fined. Only just be warned to not get too extreme, or they will get or TNT will give AEW a huge fine of overdoing it, of course. But anyways, this is where they got back in the ring. This is where Bryan Danielson has his legs right on to what's that? He had them tied together with what's his name? Tied together with Ricky Starks' legs and bending Ricky Starks' legs back, and then stretching his arms and then pulling him, doing some kind of a that stretch right on the top of midair. Like he started bending his arms and his legs back. Do some kind of a limb lock, like he used to do in his WWE days. But you occasionally see him also doing it on AEW now. Like, of course, this is where Bryan Danielson started bending his head back while he was doing the move, like when he had his knees down right into the canvas, right out of the air. Let's see right here. But also this is where Ricky Starks came back in the ring. This is where not yet, but before he went out, I should say first Bryan Danielson started hitting chops. This is where Ricky Starks started hitting right hands. This is where Bryan Danielson started hitting chops. This is where Ricky Starks hit a chop right back. This is where Bryan Danielson hitting side swipe roundhouse kicks to the absolute Ricky Starks. This is where Ricky Starks slapped the absolute shit right out of Bryan Danielson. This is where Bryan Danielson tried to close on him. He ducks. He hit, and this is when Ricky Starks hits his finishing fly spear, which he probably thought that was probably going to be it. But it might have been like this is when he pulled out. This is where he pulled out. But before he could have the count begin with Aubrey Edwards counting Bryan Danielson down. This is where he rips off his shirt. This is where he revealed he had a chain around his neck, like holding it like if it's like a chain, like a necklace chain. This is where he ties it around his neck. This is where he started raveling and tying it and squeezing it on Danielson's neck, trying to choke him out to try to win this Texas death match. And then he squeezed it. He started tying it all over his neck, and he was squeezing, looking like he could easily kill Bryan Danielson, which I don't think he will literally do that because he's a trained professional, obviously. But yeah, this could be a crime encounter from Simon Miller's Ups and Downs video on What Culture. Make sure y'all check that out for those who love watching wrestling review videos. But anyway, this is where he got him choked down. He started putting him in a camel clutch position, but he bent the chain back so he could start getting choked right around his throat where it supports him to breathe. But Bryan Danielson's like, no. And he's not surrendering. This is where it looked like Bryan Danielson was fading. Like he was fading and about to faint. Like, this is when Bryan Danielson basically eventually faded a bit. This is where the referee Aubrey Edwards started her count, and she starts to like 1, 2, 3, like 4, like 5, 6, 7, and then like 8, and then this one she like go for a 9, but luckily he got right back up when Aubrey Edwards counted directly to 9. This is where This is where Ricky Starks came in and started squeezing his neck and throat with the chain. And this is when he tried to put him to sleep with the move. This is when he started putting him in a gory position, like putting his back onto his back and lift him up and squeeze it and then having it be and then have that supported, have his back to be the support, and start bending and choking him like with the chain going down and squeezing and squeezing his neck and choking him with the exact same chain, like, which obviously that's the only chain that was in the match. It looked like Bryan Danielson was not getting back up after getting choked in his gory lock, like with him chained up, like, and choking him to death and trying to end him into this match, but it doesn't seem like Bryan Danielson was not surrendering whatsoever. Like, no matter how hard he chokes him out every single time. But this is when Bryan Danielson got the advantage. He started crawling with his legs, and this is where he got up on the turnbuckles in the middle on the top. He spins around and goes right up and counters it, and then he flips right out of it. This is where Ricky Starks got right back on the side. This is where he tried to go for this finishing fly spear. He rolls up and go grab it, and he grabs his arm, roll and grab on his arm, put his arm right on his legs. That's when he started doing the label lock. He got his arms all around his neck and his face, doing the label lock, like the former Yes lock. He had that locked in. And that's what, but he's like, but not only he got it locked in. This is where Ricky Starks trying to grab onto his chain. This is where he's trying to hit. This is where he tried to hit Bryan Danielson with his hands, like with the chain. Like, he thought that was probably going to work and try to help him escape out of Danielson's grasp. But Danielson was not giving in. Like, this is when Bryan Danielson started using his chain, started using Ricky Starks' own chain against him. He snatched it out of his hand. He started wrapping it around his neck and started taking started trying to, and he started choking him, started beating him, and started giving Ricky Starks this is where he started trying to beat him, and he tried to choke him out with the chain, the exact same chain he tried to choke Danielson out and win. This is where he successfully pulled him back and started doing the chain choke version of the label lock, choking him, going back with the rope and yanking him with him choking onto the rope. Well, not the rope, the chain rope. But anyway, this was successfully working, like with him getting choked out. Like, he was not giving up at first. This is where he was about to be nearing the edge, like, of being in death, being the edge of into the edge of death. But obviously, that's not going to happen for real, like just metaphorically in wrestling calls. But anyways, this is where he finally passes out. This is where Danielson finally put him to sleep, and then this is where the Aubrey Edwards started her count, which this is where he counted to 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 till 10, which is like AEW's version of a last man standing match, or at least a Texas Death version of the match, which that's the point of the match. I get the death match. And also, I want to point it out that I love the touching tribute to the Ricky Starks street clothes, street fight attire, of course, like of the Rock when he had this hardcore match against Mankind, aka Mick Foley, for the WWE Championship. So I would love to point that out, and love to say I appreciate that Ricky Starks putting that street clothes, that street fight street gear on for his Texas Death Match against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. But yeah, this was a really great Dynamite from the beginning of the end. I would say 4 out of the 5 matches were really great, and it was telling a story in the process of having their weekly show. It was telling a story of what's going to happen next, before and after and during Wrestle Dreams, their next pay-per-view that Tony Khan has, which is that dedicates of his Japanese wrestling idol Inoki. But yeah, I think this episode of AEW Rampage was really good, and I would say I'll give it 4 stars out of the 5 stars. And then, but before I'm done recapping the whole entire show, this is where Wheeler Yuta came out and check on his BPCC teammate and see if he's all right. This is where Big Bill try to get Ricky Starks back up on his feet, and this is where Wheeler Yuta was like, back up, like, yo, back up, like he knew he about to get into a brawl. But before anything happened, this is where the referee broke it up, and that's how AEW Collision ended. But yeah, Ricky Starks sold that like a king. But when he got choked out by Bryan Danielson. Like, and I hope there's plenty of more success and opportunities for him in All Elite Wrestling in the foreseeable future for him. Like, he's been killing it ever since he made his AEW debut back in 2020. Like, when he faced Cody Rhodes in that TNT Championship match for the TNT title. And I hope there's plenty more to come with him. But yeah, you're my brother. But yeah, I guess that's it for tonight's AEW Collision review. Like, y'all, what y'all thought about AEW Collision and how y'all rate it? And as we go forward on the road to AEW Wrestle Dreams, y'all let me know down in the comments below about that. And if you like this video, please make sure you leave a huge thumbs up and comment down below and subscribe and click the bell notification so you can be uploaded for be notified when I upload my new upcoming SNA podcast video or any other video I'm going to be doing on this YouTube channel. And make sure you watch make sure and watch all my other videos of the SNA podcast. Click on the screen down below, like, for more of my journalistic podcast of the wrestling reviews and wrestling news. And speaking of wrestling news, like, we're going to do another the wrestling news video, which will be the wrestling news episode, part 9, I believe, part 9 of the SNA podcast. Make sure you check that out tomorrow. And yeah, I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was episode 45 of the SNA podcast. This was the AEW Collision review part 6. And make sure you watch episode 46 of the SNA podcast, which will be the wrestling news part 9. And I hope y'all have a great night, and I'll see you then. Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, out.